Alright, so I'm going to go through and explain half-life by including 2 example problems. They are challenging, guys, I acknowledge that fact, but it's really a matter of wrapping your head around it and creating some sort of technique to deal with it. The first thing you need to remember is the fact that half-life, all half-life is the time required for half of a substance to decompose. Alright? So, I'm just going to go through these problems. The first step for any problem, no matter what's going on, figure out how many half-lives have occurred. Alright? So in this problem, it tells you that this radium decays with a half-life of 11.4 days. Awesome. Alright. Remember, I'm looking for how many half-lives have occurred. How long will it take for a 16-gram sample to decay to 2 grams? Alright, so I'm going to start out. I start out with 16 grams, and I know how much I'm going to end with, 2 grams. So let's figure out how many half-lives that takes. So each arrow is going to represent 1 half-life. So for the first half-life, 16 grams, half of that is going to be 8 grams. So that's just 1 half-life. For the second half-life, it now becomes 4 grams. And then finally, for the last half-life, it's now going to be 2 grams. So it took 1, 2, 3 half-lives for radium-223 to decay from 16 grams all the way to 2 grams. Now, remember, each half-life takes 11.4 days. So if this is 11.4 days, then another 11.4 days were needed, and then finally another 11.4 days were needed. So if I want to find out total how many days were required, all I have to do is add them up. So 11.4 plus 11.4 plus 11.4, or 11.4 times 3, and I get 34.2 days. And that's it. Alright? For this next one, it tells me I have 68 milligrams. The nuclide has a half-life of 12 hours. How much of it's going to remain after 2 days? Remember, again, I'm wanting to determine how many half-lives have occurred. Each half-life for this compound is 12 hours. So if I'm dealing with 2 days, what that means, and I'm just going to draw arrows here, this is 12 hours, so this is 1 half-life going from 68 to whatever it's going to become. That's 1 half-life, so 12 hours. This is another half-life, so that's 24 hours. 1 more half-life is 36 hours. I'm not quite at 2 days because 2 days is 48 hours. And so I need a 4th half-life. So I'm going to have 4 total half-lives, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug in these values. So after 1 half-life, I have 34 milligrams. After this second half-life, I'm going to have half of 34, which is 17 milligrams. After the third half-life, I have 8.5 milligrams. And then finally, after the last half-life, I again divide by 2 to get half of it. I have 4.25. And my units are going to be milligrams. And if there's going to be a rounding issue, guys, I promise I will tell you what to round to. But this is the most important thing for you to understand. In this problem, I told you what I started with, and I told you what I ended with. So you needed to determine how many half-lives occurred. Once you knew that 11.4 days was 1 half-life and that you needed 3 half-lives, that was pretty easy to do, that it took 34.2 days. For here, again, it's pretty nice and easy. You're just needing to determine, again, first, how many half-lives. Since this is 48 hours, there are going to be 4 half-lives because 12 hours, there are going to be 4 12-hour periods within 48 hours. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I just plugged in the numbers. 68 divided by 2, that's half of 68. This is half of 34. This is half of 17. This is half of 4.25. And I've got my answer and I'm done. So it's really not that bad. I would recommend, instead of trying to keep it all in your head, I would recommend drawing it out and remembering that you're needing to determine how many half-lives are occurring before you do anything else. And that's it